startup, your journey towards running a startup always starts or should start. I won't say always start because it doesn't always start that way. Should start with asking yourself a key question. So if you are going to start up at anything or start at anything, you must ask yourself a key question, which I realize a lot of people don't ask themselves. Please, can we all mute our mics? I don't know whose mic is. All right, thank you. Now, as I was saying, if you are going to be a startup, if you're going to start up at anything or start out at anything, there's a key question you must ask yourself, which a lot of people don't ask themselves. And instead of talking to you about branding, marketing, and positioning on the startup, I thought about it and I said, I want to talk to you about those things or that particular thing, that important question that people don't ask themselves before launching a startup. And the question is, who am I? Who am I? You see, there's something worrying about this startup culture that we have in Nigeria and all over the world. Let me not just say in Nigeria. This startup culture we have, you would realize that a lot of people are running businesses not because they plan to run businesses, not because they like that entrepreneurial journey of starting something and building something. Um, a lot of people, and I dare to say, for every 10 businesses, six which is more than half, started business because they couldn't get a job. A lot of people start businesses because they are unable to secure a, a 9 to 5. And that is not a good reason to start a business. It's not. A business shouldn't be a makeshift plan. A business is intentional. Anything you commit to should be intentional, and a business is a commitment. It's just as like saying committing to marrying somebody because you can't find any other person. So you don't commit to marry a woman or a man because I just can't find anybody that I like. You understand? So, but that also happens. You understand? When people say, ah, man, guys are finished in the market or women are finished in the market or so just say to the one that comes to you, just grab it. You understand? Don't question too much. Don't scrutinize too much. Don't be too picky. Just go with whichever one you find. Because there are no good guys in the market anymore. There are no good girls in the market anymore. So a lot of people go into business because they can't secure a job. So they're like, I've been at home for a long time since I graduated from university for about 2 years now. I've applied and applied and applied and I can't get a job, so I started this business. Now, to be honest, there have been a lot of successful businesses that have started out that way. And a lot of business have failed because of starting out that way. Now, why I said the most important question to ask yourself is who am I if you're going to be a startup at all? If you're going to start up at anything at all, is because when you start out at something out of a sense of desperation or a need for activity, there is the possibility that when you engage in that activity, after a while, you become unhappy. When the need for activity has been satisfied, the need for fulfillment will set in. When need for activity has been satisfied, the need for fulfillment always sets in. And that's when you begin to think, oh man, I'm not happy in this marriage. Oh. I'm not happy in this relationship. Oh. I'm not happy with this business. Oh. Because you know what? You did it by settling. So you did it because you were tired of inactivity. So before you start up at anything, ask yourself, who am I? And as regards business, the who am I question is not very hard. As regards business, or as regards work, let me not say business, as regards work as an activity, one question we should ask ourselves is, what is my matrix of success? What does it mean for me as an individual to be successful? What does success look like for me? And that is the key who am I question as it pertains to work. Because work takes a huge percentage of our life. Work. By the time you finish school, eh, work is going to take the most percentage of your life. You're going to spend more time working than you do spend at home with your family. So it's very important for you to know what success in work is for you. And once you can answer that question, what is your matrix of success, you will know what kind of startup you should engage in. Because there are three types of startups. But we have this mentality that there's only one type of startup, which is the entrepreneurial startup. But there are three, and I'll tell about the three tonight. Now, the first type of startup is what I call intrapreneurship. Intra, you understand? Intrapreneurship. Intrapreneurship. And this is engaged in by people that I refer to as workers. They are workers. That is who they are. If they were to question who am I, they will come to the answer that they are workers. And how do you know that you are a worker that should be an entrepreneur? Workers, their matrix of success, how they judge that they are successful, they've gotten to a place that, oh, I'm progressing in life, I'm being successful, is by climbing up. So workers are climbers. So for them, success is I work and the amount of money I have increases. So I'm climbing up status wise with my earnings. So when I started work, I was earning 5K a month. Now I'm 2 years into working and I'm earning 50K a month. For them, that is how they judge that they are progressing and they are being successful in life. So workers or entrepreneurs are people that want to climb up. They want to secure. So their metrics of success is securing a position or securing an earning. That's how it is for them. So for these people, their startup, the startup they should be aiming towards is securing a job. That is their startup journey. Their startup journey is getting into an organization. That's why they're called entrepreneurs. They are getting into an organization and they secure a job in which they play a particular part and they are diligent at doing it and they get paid at the end of the month and their salary increases after a while and they get promoted and their office changes and they go from an office of 6 people to an office of 3 people to getting into an office of their own. For them, that is success. For them, that is success. They are workers and workers want to climb and secure. So they want to secure positions. So if you do not pay a worker, the worker will not see any reason to work anymore because their matrix of success has been disrupted. So you want to say, they've not paid our salary for the past 2 months, and I'm looking for another job. Because it's a worker. When you stop paying their salary, they're not climbing anymore. So they become dissatisfied. That's who they are by nature. That's who they are. That's how they judge their own success. There must be progress. You understand? So if you're working in a place and you're paying their salary steadily, but you're not promoting them, they become dissatisfied. They want to get that promotion letter. They want their position to change from graphic designer to senior graphic designer to creative director. For them, it's very important. That change of title, very important. They want to go from doctor to consultant. Very important for them because they're workers. They want to climb. They're entrepreneurs. Securing, securing a position or securing an earning is their matrix of success. Their startup is finding a job. Now you have the second category of people. Now when they ask themselves, who am I? Their answer is that they are entrepreneurs. Another name for them is builders. They are builders. When they look at their very core, that is the answer. They are entrepreneurs, they are builders. They want to build. And the joy of a builder is seeing something grow and scale. That's why it's called building. You're adding brick to brick to brick, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Those people enjoy scaling. Unlike the entrepreneur that enjoy climbing, these people enjoy scaling. So those are the people that start businesses. They start a business. And their joy, their metrics of success is I started this business in my room and I was the only one working. But after a year, I got a small office. Then after a few months, I was able to employ my first employee. And then after 6 months, got 2 employees. After 2 years, we are now 5. After 3 years, we have a new office, we have a new branch. Then we have another branch. Then we have another branch outside the country. That is what an entrepreneur gets. That's his measure of success. The fact that what he started as small, he has built and has been able to scale up. Scaling is what drives an entrepreneur. Scaling. So if an entrepreneur is in an environment where he can't scale, he doesn't see any reason to work anymore. I can't grow, then there's no need to win this business. There's no need. If this country doesn't allow me to grow, that's the metric of success. If the country doesn't allow me to grow, then there's no need being in this country. They are always dissatisfied with being at the same position. I've been working in the same room, still working in the same room. They want to grow. They find joy in hiring and paying. You understand? They find joy in scaling human resource capital, in physical resources. They find joy in seeing what they started take on a life of its own and scaling. Scaling is very important to them. So ask yourself, are you an entrepreneur? Those are the people that, even if they're not making that much money, not that important to them. They just want to see that business grow. It's not about the money anymore. That's why when you read about people like the guy that started Walmart, said the guy worked till he died. Till he was well into his 80s. He was working till the day before he died. He was still working. What was he working for? What was he working for? He had made so much money. He was already a multi-millionaire. But he just wanted to keep putting a brick upon the brick upon the brick. Just wanted Walmart to just grow. That was his dream. That Walmart growing, passing it on to the next person, next person, the next person, the next person. That's what they want. They can't help themselves. Their position doesn't need to change. If you call them Mr. This, for the next 20 years, they don't care. Unlike the employee or the worker, you understand? That person cares about position. They don't really care whether their designation or title changes. They don't care. A lot of them don't care. Bill Gates doesn't care whether you call him doctor or you call him professor tomorrow. Even if he acquires it, he doesn't care. but he cares about the scaling of his company. Elon Musk cares about the scaling of his company. He doesn't care about the title that comes before his name. So ask yourself, are you an entrepreneur? Are you a builder? The third category are people I call infopreneurs. They're infopreneurs. So remember, we have entrepreneurs, and we have people called infopreneurs. And these people are influencers. They're influencers. Not like the abuse of the word influencers we have today. I don't think no, it's not all those people that are waiting for one brand to come and tell them to do something and the brand will pay them. And then no, those guys are not influencers. Those guys are workers, but they're just taking on that position. They're not influencers. There's those people that are just selling for one brand today, go to another brand today. What people call influencing today is um is premium working, where you can work with different companies and based on your image, you can sell and they will pay you. Mm-mm. Those are not influencers. So don't mix up that word influencers. The people that call themselves influencers today are not influencers. They are people that manipulate your mind to buy a product so that they can get paid by the owners of those products. The real influencer, their metrics of success is impact. They want to impact lives around them. That's their matrix of success. It's not scaling, it's not climbing, it's impact. So influencers are very particular about their name, their personal brand. Because for them, it's about other people around them saying, this guy, you, that book that you wrote touched my life. That's your YouTube channel helped me to develop as a person, help me to train my children, help me to grow in my faith, help me at this very down. So their own is impact. That's their metrics of success. They want their impact to grow from person to person to person to person, from generation to generation to generation, and even outlive them. So people can say, wow, you must read this book. You must listen to this podcast. You must watch this YouTube channel. You know, that's that for them is how they know that they are doing well in life, by how many lives they've been able to touch. Now, these people are not interested in employing anybody. They're not interested in employing. They're not interested in having an office. They would rather work from home and create whatever content or write whatever book or write whatever music. All they want is an environment that allows them to do that thing that they put out there and get feedback from people about how those things have influenced and inspired them. So they're influencers, they're infopreneurs. They want to propagate an idea. There's an idea they have in their mind, a value that they have. It might be a religious value, a spiritual value. It might be an academic value. It might be, but it's something that they believe so strongly in that they want to pass from person to person to person to person. So the more people are able to adopt that value, the more successful they feel. And among these categories, you have people like writers, authors. Authors are influencers. An author doesn't want to hire 50 people to work for him. He doesn't want an office. He wants to write from his room. You understand? But the author wants 1 million people to read their book and to say that the book changed their life. The author doesn't want a situation whereby you buy their book and you put it in their room and give them the money. They don't care about that money. It is the impact of that book. The fact that you can read their book and recommend their book to somebody else, and then even recommend it to your children, and your children recommend it to their own children, and it spans for generations and generations. They don't care about money. They care about the fact that when they leave the world, someone will say, this man, this woman did this. There was a story about Chinua Achebe some years ago when 50 Cent wanted to use the name of his book, Things Fall Apart, for a movie he was doing. And he wrote to Chinua Achebe and said he wanted to, use the name of the book, Things Fall Apart, for his own project. And he was offering Chinua Achebe $1 million. This was a couple of years ago before Chinua Achebe died. Chinua Achebe said he doesn't want it. Said he didn't want it. He turned him down. And 50 Cent had to change the name of that project to All Things Fall Apart. You couldn't use Things Fall Apart. And people were saying, why did Chinua Achebe turn down that money? And that's good money now, $1 million. I know Things Fall Apart was a successful book, but any author, if you sell your book worth $1 million, you've done pretty well. That's not a small feat at all. And that was the beginning of the conversation. You understand? I'm sure if he had told 50 Cent, he would take 2 million. 50 Cent will think about it and probably pay him. That was the beginning of the conversation. But he said no, he turned it down flat. He said he was not going to take it. Because to him, it was not about the money. He wanted people going forward when things fall apart, he didn't want to share that glory with anybody. Because that was his baby. He wanted to say, you remember him for that book. That information was his own. He wanted it to spread. He didn't want anything to contaminate it. So you have to think, are you that kind of person that for you, work is about having an idea and a value that you just want to impact people with. You're dissatisfied about how the mentality that people have about something, or an approach that people have about something to you feel it disturbs you. So as an infopreneur, what you want to do is making your life's work to educate people, teachers. They're normally teachers. A musician on a good day is meant to be an infopreneur. You understand? Because they write songs not to sell records. They write songs to express a thought that they want you to connect with. Just like all those things have been abused today. That's why people write rubbish songs. And as long as they pay them, they get endorsement. Those people, they're all, you don't go, they're all workers. You understand? Because all they want to do is climb from here to here, and sell records. But the real singer doesn't really, they write from their heart. And they don't care how much the record company is paying them. What gives them validation is when they go and sing and 100,000 people are singing the lyrics of their song with them. That's their validation. So you need to ask yourself, those three expressions of work, whether you're an intrapreneur, entrepreneur, and infopreneur, whether you want to climb, or you want to scale, or you want to impact or influence. You need to think about it. Because if you don't know your metrics of success, you will become successful and unhappy. And it happened to me. You see, for many years when I got into design, because I didn't know what the expression of work was. I thought it was entrepreneur or employee. And I worked as an employee when I came out of school. Worked for my uncle for a while. It wasn't a good fit at all. But I was distracted. Throughout. You understand? I realized I was not a good employee because I didn't know how to focus on working in one cubicle, focus on one task for a long time. So I thought, man, because my mind was always wandering, I was always thinking. So I was like, why can't I focus at work like this? And I thought, okay, maybe I want to be an entrepreneur. So I stopped that and I started entrepreneurship. I started my business, started Alabi Design. Ran that for a while. But then scaling was a problem for me. Employing people was a problem for me. I'll try to employ, I'll fall again. I'm like, I can't manage these people. I can't manage this. Then clients will be calling me and saying, do this work. And I'll be like, it was kind of borderline irritating, just having clients give you order, run around, print work, go and deliver, that kind of thing. People asking me where my office is. I got an office twice. I couldn't maintain that office space because I didn't like going to the office. It was always bothersome for me. 1 minute, please. Sorry, I have a little bit of a cough, so if I just mute my mic for a while, I just want to start to drink some water. But I didn't like going to the office. You understand? It was trouble for me sitting down in that office and just doing what. But I realized whenever I worked at home, man, I used to work well. I never knew that there was an expression of work that didn't need me, number one, working in a cubicle as an employee, that didn't need me renting an office and employing people. I didn't know for a very long time that I was an information person. I was the kind of person that wanted to spend my day recording content and putting it out there and people listening. That was my startup. You understand? But I wanted to do startup the way it is always painted to us on TV and in tech magazines and stuff. That, oh, you start this company, you scale up, you employ people, you get acquired, you get this. That wasn't attractive to me. But I thought if I wasn't an employee, then I had to be the other thing. Not until 2020, when I kind of owned it. And I said, Tola, what do you want to do? Who are you? And I said, I want to record content. I want to, if I could do it all every single day, I want to record content for my YouTube channel. And my spirit just told me, Tola, then do that. I started doing it. And my life it was just like if there was no electricity in my life and all of a sudden light just came. And I started loving every single day of my life. Ideas started coming. I started working. I was more confident. I was happier doing my work because I asked myself who I was, and that became my startup. There was no pressure within me to say, I need to go and get an office. I need to employ people. I need to grow from this. And I started knowing what my metrics of success was. And I started getting more of it because more and more people were calling me and telling me, oh, I listened to your stuff. It changed my life. I've listened to it 10 times now. It's still helping me. I recommended it. I'll go on Twitter. I'll see people saying, I just listened to ProUp Masterclass podcast. And I was still successful. And I stopped comparing myself to the other people who their metrics of success was climbing or scaling. I owned my metrics. And that's what I want to tell you today, that some of you are going into startups in this way that you always learned it without asking who you are. Some of you are working to satisfy your parents' metrics of success. So your parents' metrics of success is, let Jide buy a car. Then when Jide buys the car, Jide is doing very well. He has bought a car now. He now has an office on the island. His house, he has a 2-bedroom apartment. And that is their own metric of success for you. Jide, does that make you happy? Does that make you fulfilled? Jide needs to ask himself, do I really feel happy with this office that I have? Do I really feel happy that at the end of the month I'm thinking of how to pay 50 people? Do I really feel happy that I've been promoted to assistant director, but then I get to travel and I don't like traveling? Or do I really feel happy that people are saying, Jide, I like your YouTube channel, but I'm not making money? Because you can be an entrepreneur and people will be praising you and saying, but then deep inside you, what you want to do is buy a car and build a house. You will never be happy with feedback that people are giving you. Even they're encouraging you from now to tomorrow and tell you how much I impacted their lives. So you must know who you are and what is your matrix of success and walk that path. And you see how much your life would improve. Your life would improve. Now, there are people here that will say, can there be a mixture of entrepreneurship and infopreneurship? You see, the reality is nobody's actually rigid. say I'm an entrepreneur, I don't want money. I don't want to increase in wealth like the worker who sees their money increasing as success. Of course, there will be a slight part of you. Everybody everybody has a need for money. So earning money is something that we all want. Moving up in life, something that we all want. Validation, winning awards, we all want it. So there will always be a part of you. But what I'm saying that there's a core part of you that is willing to stop the work if that matrix is not satisfied. That's what I'm talking about. I'm saying if you not earning money will make you stop what you are doing, then go somewhere where your money will be secure and they will pay it at the end of the month. If you not building, you understand, building and scaling and hiring people and directing people would make you stop doing what you are doing, then just go and start a business and hire people. Hire people. And you realize that effortlessly you'll be hiring. They'll be drawn to you yourself. You understand? So you you knowing what your matrix of success is doesn't mean that I don't mean that the entrepreneur doesn't want to impact. He wants to impact, but the impact is not as important as the scaling for him. So he wouldn't sleep well if he has one shop for 20 years impacting everybody in the society. No, it's not enough for him. He will close shop. He will close shop because he can't open a second store. He can't hire more people. The other day I drove by a an eatery here in Abuja. They were doing pretty well, but they closed down. And I wonder why they closed down. And I got to realize that they closed down because they couldn't move out of Abuja. And for them, it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it being an Abuja eatery. Full stop. They wanted to move out, but the laws and policies in Nigeria wasn't allowing them to move out. So they stopped. They said it's not worth it. Not worth it if you can't scale. If it wasn't because it wasn't scalable, they stopped. And I used to have a partner that was like that too. So whenever we talked about ideas, and because we both knew that we're not employee type people, but we didn't understand that one of us was entrepreneurial and I was more of an influencer. So every time we were talking, we was always talking about scalable idea. Was like, is it scalable? And I was like, does it matter? And he was like, but it's not scalable now. And I was like, it doesn't really matter. And like, if it's not scalable, nobody will buy it. Nobody will buy the business at the end of the day. And I'll be like, to be honest, I don't want anyone to buy my business. I want to stay with the business so that people remember that I was Tola Alabi's business. You understand? So, and I always to wonder why we used to have this slight difference in opinion. But because at his very core, scaling was very important. He was a true entrepreneur. Scale, it was like, if it's not scalable, we can't scale it. Why are we doing it? But I was like, as long as it's impacting, why does it need to be scalable? Why can't we run like that for the rest of our lives? You understand? That's the way it is. I had a friend the other day, invited me to his son's birthday. And in the middle of the birthday, he just called me and said, okay, I want to come out and see something. And I went out and he showed me a car he has bought. Very nice car. Tear rubber car. Beautiful car. I said, yeah, this car, the organization just gave me. And he put on the car and showed me the car and stuff like that. And it was a great car. And he said, and I could see, because my friend, we were friends for a long time, I could see how proud he was of himself that he had this car. But he has been working in the organization for 15 years. And for me, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm never going to do that. 15 years, you give me a car. And that's not worth it. But for him as a worker, he was like, I can change my car. You understand? I can change my car. I can drive my car to my father and show him this is the result of my work. You understand? For him, he's pure worker. You understand? For him was the kind of validation he wanted. He had a car, a new car, brand new car. It was beautiful, to be honest with you. But for me, I'm like, I don't care if I have a car. But whenever I have someone tell me what you are doing is changing my life, man, it's like you're giving me $1 million. I will feel happy for the rest of the day. I keep all my messages. People tell me what you're doing is changing my life. You just help me, just help me. I might have $0 in my account, but then I feel like a millionaire. And that's why you see, my parents at first didn't get it. But they don't say, what are you doing, Tola? What are you actually doing? Because people have not been calling us saying your son is helping your son. My dad traveled somewhere one day and he said, because he was like, Tola, are you sure you're happy with this your job? I said, I'm absolutely happy. But like, okay, are you sure? Because my dad is a worker to the core. You understand? That's his metric of success. That he can walk, go up the ladder, change title, position, have a bigger office. That was his. That's why he worked as a civil servant for 35 years. But we are different in that sense. So when he sees me and he's saying, at your age, I had 2 cars now. I had a nice house. I was traveling the world. So he was thinking I was not happy with my life. But I told him, Daddy, I'm very happy. So sometimes he doesn't believe me. But the time I went somewhere, traveled somewhere, and the person's son heard his name. I said, oh, yeah, Tola Labi's dad, right? Oh, man, your son is really helping me, really helped me. I listen to his stuff every time. And my dad came back and the first time he said, what are you doing that? This guy in a different place said he knew you and you are affecting his life. So he really wanted to know what I was doing because a lot of times when they go out, they hear a lot of people validate what I'm doing. You understand? So they now understand that, oh, my own view of success, my matrix is different from theirs. So they celebrate that. So some of you are competing with your siblings, but your matrix of success is different. And sometimes a parenting thing, because we kind of think matrix of success should be equal, but our parents should understand what each child is doing. You understand what each child is doing and allow them to all follow their path in life. But if there's anything I'm going to take from here today, is that one question you need to ask yourself. Who am I? What is my startup? Who am I? If you're a worker, your startup is a job. That's what you should start up at. Get a job. Once you're not satisfied with that money, get a better job. Once they're not promoting you enough, get a better job. You'll be happy. You understand? You'll be happy. Don't compare yourself. Don't this rubbish comparison that but I won't have control of my time. No. Even if you have control of your time without money, you won't be happy if you're a worker. So stop admiring the person that has control of their time and is sleeping at home while you are in the office. If you had what that person had, without the promotion and the salary, you won't be happy. So you're in the right place. You're just being envious of what's happening on the other side. So your startup is a job. You're in the right place. Don't go and start a business. If you like to build things and to grow things and to multiply and to see your business growing, you're an entrepreneur, stay there. Stay there and watch your business grow. Watch it grow. Watch it grow. Watch it become global. You understand? Watch yourself employ people and they're able to take care of their families because of this thing that you've established, which is a business. That's what makes you happy. That's what makes you happy. That risk of taking business, of taking a loan and not knowing, hey, how will I pay back this loan? How will I pay my staff? That's your adrenaline. Own it. Don't let anybody make you feel like your life is odd. That is your startup. Own it. So your startup is a business. The other person, their startup is a job. If you're an infopreneur, you're an influencer, your startup is a practice. A practice is different from a business. A practice is what you do. You don't have to scale up. You don't have to hire anybody. You can work from home. But you're just practicing that thing that you love to do. It might be speaking. It might be recording content, it might be singing, it might be whatever it is, thought leadership, whatever it is. Just practice it till the day you die. Do you understand? You will survive on that. But at the end of the day, you will be happy without envy. And that's why when that my friend called me to look at his car, I was 0% envy. Zero. Because he was doing his thing, I was doing my thing. But a lot of times we are envious because we are not following our own matrix of success. So at this point, I think I have about 10 minutes more. And I think I want to give some people some a chance to ask some questions. So I'll stop right here. But I hope someone is going to get some clarity from this. So if there are any questions, please feel free to ask.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. We are really grateful for this. It's a lot, right? And I believe some person has some questions. The person who will be taking the question and answer section is the person of Dr. Josh. I don't know if he's around, but if you have your question, kindly ask your question.
Okay. All right. It's question time. So if you have a question, just identify by raising your hands, and Larry will grant you access to ask a question. Or if it's a question if you feel you don't want to use the voice feature, you can type the question on the comment section, and I'll read it out for Mr. Tolalabi so he can provide answers for our questions. So it's question time. So please let's ask our questions. Thank you so much. Do we have questions?
Okay, for me, I have a question. So, basically, you talked about the entrepreneur and the infopreneur. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
So what happened for someone who has um, the maybe two personalities from these you mentioned? How can person go about it? Like someone who wants to be an entrepreneur and an infopreneur, or someone who wants to be an entrepreneur and an infopreneur. How can the person chat his way through or chat her way through?
Okay. And I guess I kind of mentioned it while I was talking that nobody is rigidly one. Very few people are rigidly one. There's a little bit of it, of each one in every single one of us. We are human beings. There's a desire to rise up, there's a desire to climb in every single one of us, there's a desire to build in every single one of us, and there's a desire to influence in every single one of us. But what I'm saying is that there is always one which is strongest. You understand? There's always one which is strongest. And sometimes it's hard to know till you actually do it. So for me, you see, the reason why I'm so clear about it is because I've gone through it. I've worked as an employee, I've worked as a business owner, and I've worked as an influencer. You understand? But I had to go through and say, I'm here. At the end of the day, I kind of realized that it just didn't hit the spot. It just didn't hit the spot. You understand? So when you work as an employee, you're in a good place, good office, salary comes on time, salary is good enough, but in the end, I'm like, I just don't feel comfortable. Then I tried the business and I tried it, and it was good. Clients were coming, but then there was always a pressure on me, just saying I'm not satisfied with this client life or working on brief and stuff like that. I used to, you see, I used to feel some anxiety whenever my phone rang, even though I loved the activity I was doing. I didn't like that client. The client is coming. and I wasn't sure what the brief was going to be. You understand? So, but I didn't know how to articulate it that I'm not satisfied with this, even though the business was growing. Even though the business was growing, as I was building, it was growing, and people were coming to me saying, "Sir, can I work with you? I would like to work with you." They were even saying I work for free self, and I was turning them down. I didn't know why, but because I just realized that employing wasn't attractive to me. That scaling wasn't attractive to me. It was scary to me. You understand? So sometimes you need to try. And so if you feel like you have that a little bit of an infopreneur in you, whereby you feel like, oh, you're just an information person, you're an ideas person, you have some values that you don't want to put out there, you can try it. You understand? Give some time to doing it. And then if at the end of the day you realize that I don't like this situation of not visibly growing. You understand? Where it just seems like if for the past how many months I've just been working from this particular environment that seems unserious. If it seems unserious to you, because some people they can't do what I'm doing, which is make content, write stuff, speak at. No, they can't do because for them it's like it's too unserious. I've had it up there, but I feel unserious. I feel like I'm unserious. I feel like I'm wasting my life. Just pack. If you feel like you're wasting your life, just pack it up. You understand? Some people, if they don't work without wearing a tie, that is not one tie or iron shirt, or they put starch on something, they have not worked in that. For them, it's not work. Don't ever call it work. If they don't wear shoes and they're wearing jeans, no, it's not work. Oh. That I'm not wearing tie. You know, it doesn't make sense. So, and I thought that my dad was a good example. The time my dad, when my dad told me, I can't go to work, you're carrying backpack. You should get a briefcase. So he got a briefcase and gave it to me. I said, I can't carry this thing. I can't carry the briefcase. Because to him, carrying a briefcase and looking official and corporate was part of the metrics of success for him. Even my wife too says it. She's like, for her, work is wearing good work clothes, high heel shoes, corporate, get into a car, a driver drives you, and that shows that you're working. But for me, I can't. And I will go out and one driver is waiting for me. What if into like I woke up in the morning and say I want to go out to then 5 minutes I don't want to go. I'm that kind of person. I don't feel like going out anymore. But driver has come, so I have to go inside the car. You understand? That's not me. Just what I'm saying. I remember when I told my wife, I told my wife if I'm going to design that when I was still working as a business owner, an entrepreneur, I told my wife, why can't I have a bed in my office? Why? I need a bed in my office. Because every time I come to this office, I sit down on this chair. After like 10 minutes, I want to lie down in bed. And I want to be able to walk and go out and watch TV, watch a football match and come back and work. But that just didn't seem responsible because it wasn't the right fit for them. But for me, it's the right fit. I'm effective when I'm able to work in that what seems like a lackadaisical environment. You understand? So you have to try it and see what works for you. What works for you? You must just try it. It's when you try it that you realize I really like this thing because there are some things that you like by ideology, but reality you don't like it. Ideologically, you feel you like it. So ideologically, you feel you're an infopreneur. But till you try it and you're like, man, I'm an infopreneur. I want to have a car and 5 houses. And now I now realize it because when I just saw my friend with car and 5 houses, I didn't sleep for 5 nights. You understand? So you know that thing is very important to you. It's very important to you. The fact that you saw someone that has it and it niggled on your mind for so long, then you know that thing you're doing is not hitting the spot for you. So you must try it. And that's why as I say, it's a startup journey. It's a startup journey. But not everybody's startup is a registered business name, do a logo, hire people, scale up. Too many people say that thing too much. They make it the norm. But not everybody fits into that mold. But you must try it first.
All right. Joshua, are you here? Can
Yes.
you?
I'm here.
Yeah. I think he's done. You can read the other questions.
Okay, all right, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for the answers to the last questions that were asked. There's another question here. This from Chukwebuka. He's saying, what if you're being referred to as lazy? Because it's difficult trying to explain to family and friends what you're doing. Uh, he said, so for someone who is such a who is in a choked situation of trying not to be seen as a lazy person, what should he do?
Okay, that's a good question. And this way, you need to ask yourself, which I said that question, who am I? Very important. Very important. Now, Chukwuebuka, what is most important is not what people refer to you as. It is what you know you are. So I'm going to talk about the Bible here because that's always my reference. Doesn't matter what people think you are. People will always misinterpret. And that's why in the time of Jesus, Jesus came after John the Baptist. So John the Baptist came before Jesus. When John the Baptist came, he was a no-nonsense person. You understand? No nonsense. If you didn't do what was right, he would tell you to your face. He wouldn't hang out with you. He didn't mince his words. He was living in the desert. He didn't have friends. He had disciples, but no friends. You understand that kind of thing? He looked like a madman. And that's how he preached the word. And people said he was a madman. And he had a demon, a possessed person. You understand? Then Jesus Christ came and was hanging out with people. People that they never thought he would hang out with, people that they thought that he would have to judge. You understand? You hang out with them, go to their house, visit them, eat with them, stuff like that. And they called him, this man, he's a glutton. He's a glutton, just going to go and eat everywhere they call him, he go and eat. Now, the truth is, was any one of them right? Any one of the people that called John the Baptist a madman, was John the Baptist actually a madman? No, because in hindsight now, we can see that John the Baptist was in his right mind. You understand? When we look at Jesus' life now, do we look at him as a glutton? No, we look at him as the savior. You understand? For a Christian, that's how you look at him. But people misinterpreted him. They misinterpreted him. They said it was a glutton, a friend of sinners, and stuff like that. So people don't understand. It doesn't matter. He knew who he was. And that's why he says, it doesn't matter what you call me, it's the result that show is the result. You understand? So he says the blind see, the deaf hear, the lame walk. That's what's important, not what you think. Is the result of what is the result of my being a glutton. That matters. So if people see you as lazy, but you know you are in your perfect ecosystem, perfect environment where you work best, the results will begin to speak for you after a while. Doesn't matter who sees you as lazy initially. And but like I said, with my parents, they thought, this guy is not doing anything, not doing. But when they started getting the results and the feedback, they were like, this guy must be doing something. There's something he's doing. Even though we don't understand it, something is doing. The first day they listened to my podcast, they were like, oh man, okay, so we get what you're doing. Because even my parents, for the first time in their life, they're like, that was a good podcast. My parents told me that. Because they get people calling them from the US. You understand that kind of thing? That's it. The results say it at the end of the day. The other day when I got an award, and and I showed it to them, they're like, what are you doing to get an award now? We thought it was just like award, people will go into office and do something. But for them, they were like, how did this come from? But it is the product of your work that speaks for you. So don't start living for other people's opinion. Say, oh, Chukwuebuka is lazy because he's always at home. You understand? He doesn't have an office. He doesn't, when he goes out, not wearing tie and suit. You understand, kind of thing, not progressing. No, 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 no. You keep your eye on your path. If you feel like you are the kind of person that wants to be producing content, then go ahead and do it. After a while, the people that say you're lazy will be like, Chibuka is my guy, man. My guy, man. I always knew he was a hardworking guy. You understand? That's what they will say after a while. So don't worry yourself too much about it. Don't worry yourself too much about it. It happens every time. Don't you see it on social media today? Don't you see it on social media today? There's people that used to produce content, and it used to look useless when they started. Till brands started jumping on it and saying, okay, endorse our brand, endorse our brand, endorse our brand. You understand? That's how it goes. You understand? So it doesn't matter what people say. You must ask yourself who you are and be who you are unapologetically. Express work in the way that you feel you should express work. Except in your own heart, you feel you are lazy. If your heart tells you that you are being lazy, you are not pushing yourself enough. You understand? You are not pushing. If your heart that condemns you, then you start thinking about it. That okay, that am I really putting in my best? You understand? Am I really putting? Then to be honest, if it's you, not what any other person says. What people say is not as important as what you say at the end of the day, because you want to be happy. You understand? So there's no need using someone else's yardstick of success and now being unhappy. You understand? No, it doesn't make any sense. You want to be happy, follow that your own yardstick. Express yourself that way. And by expressing yourself that way, you will find true happiness and true validation at the end of the day.
Wow. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for uh, quality answers we're getting this evening. I want to believe, Chukwebuka, your question has been answered. Okay, you commented on the comment section. Beautiful. So, sir, the last question we'll be taking for tonight is this. Okay, so someone is saying taking decisions is hard for me because I'm scared of what might happen if I transition to the other side. So, like living where I am currently to where I feel I should be. So, sir, please, what advice do you have for this person?
Okay, so the first saying that taking decision is hard for them.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so read that question again, because I don't get where the best person is coming from.
Okay, taking decisions is hard for me because I am
Okay.
scared of what might happen if I transition to the other side, like living where I am currently to where I feel I should be.
Hmm. Okay, so when you say living where you are, I don't know if this person is even on this call. Living where you are you talking about living a job, or living where you are as in living a location where you live? You understand? So I'm not getting, there's some things that are not in the right context. I don't know how to advise you. Um. So, but let me.
Okay,
Okay, huh?
okay, living a job.
Okay,
So
leaving a job. Okay, leaving
yes,
a job. All right, all right, all right. Okay, so now one thing, this fear of the word the person used that I want to use here. It says decision making, fear of decision making. It's not a totally terrible thing. No. It's not. Sometimes it's a signal of who you are and how your expression of work should be. And I like the fact that this person has asked this question, because fear of decision making is a strong characteristic of workers. You understand? Um, and I s- and I'm going to say it again. I'm not saying it as a vice that you are scared to make decisions. Sometimes it is a guide to let you know that you are the kind of person that would rather have someone else make all those very weighty decisions that affects a lot of people's lives, while you focus on what you know and what you understand and what is safe. Most of the time, people like those kind of people make the best workers. You understand? Because they have tunnel vision on what they want to do and how they want to do it. But when it comes to making big decisions that could affect them or affect other people's lives, they don't want to do it. And to be an entrepreneur, it is the most, out of all these three expressions, is the one that needs the most courage, because you take the most risk. And decision making, you cannot be scared of making decisions if you're an entrepreneur. You cannot be scared of it. As in, you have to be able to make crazy decisions. It's almost like gambling every single day. You understand? And so, to start with, for you, it kind of tells me that your expression of work is towards a safe, stable environment. You understand? There's nothing wrong with that. Don't make that feel like you're a weak person. Just understand that you're looking for stability and security. Now, what how I advise you is using that in the context of being a worker is let your matrix now be your decision making now be based on why you are thinking of leaving this job you want to leave right now. You understand? Is it that you're not being paid enough? Is it that you don't like the expression of the work in terms of the work description? Let that guide you to going to the next place. But never ever, you understand, put yourself in that place where you're exposed to critical decision making. I'm not talking about basic decision making because everybody makes basic decisions. But critical ones, don't put yourself in that environment because in the end, it won't help you. It will destroy you. You understand? It makes so that's too much pressure for you. And I talk to my wife is like that kind of person. Decision making is very hard for her. You understand? So she likes people telling her this is what you are meant to do, and then she will do it excellently. So she likes guidance. You understand? So if you employ my wife, you have the best employee, as in she will do the work very well. As long as you tell her what I just, but tell her, okay, I want you to go and figure out this thing. Just do what you want to do. You've confused her. You understand? So I always tell her, this thing is a guidance for you. It's not a character flaw. You understand? It just tells you that you're the kind of person that wants an instruction that is clear, safe, secure. You know when you're coming to work, that what you're going to do. You understand? That's good for you. Everybody, the world needs those kind of people. So for you, it's not a flaw. But if you're thinking of leaving a job, let it be for reasons that might affect your your matrix. So if your matrix is what is don't leave the job because you see other people starting business and you feel like your boss shouts at you too much. Let that boss be shouting at you. You understand? Trust me, you're still happy with the boss shouting at you and you earning salary than you going to start off a business with no boss where you're making critical decisions every day. You'll be very, very sad. So when you're thinking of leaving this job, my question is why do you want to leave the job? Is it an expression problem? Is it an environment problem? Or is it that there's no problem at all? You understand? It's just little kickbacks, little pushbacks, which is I don't like the place, I don't like the way my boss talks to me. You know, all those things, some things are petty. You understand that we kind of say we want to leave a secure environment for. Because obviously a secure environment is very important for you as a person. So before you start rocking that table saying, I want to leave my job to go to another job, it must be a good reason. You understand? Or don't even think you want to leave the job and start a business. Don't even think of please don't think of that. Don't think of that. That decision making is hard because decision making is what makes business at the end of the day. So um for you, scared to make decisions, because you're scared of what might happen, then you know what a lot of people will tell you is to try to change and make decisions. I try not to tell people to change from who they are, from their nature, because I try not to. You understand? So if there's a fear of making decisions, it will be hard for you to change. And I'm saying it because I know people that are scared of making decisions, and no matter how much lecture you give them, they'll be motivated as okay, I'm going to make a decision right now. But 3 months time, they'll still come back and tell you I'm scared of making a decision. So I just realized it's like you're trying to tell a tortoise to leave its shell. If it cannot, the shell is part of it. So it has to own the shell and use it to its advantage to protect itself. And just realize that I'm not a dog. I'm a tortoise. I have a shell. So why do I have this shell? Why do I have this shell of being scared of making decisions? I've been looking at it as a disadvantage all along. What is the advantage of it? And it might just be the fact that you are as I said earlier, you are not the decision maker. You are the runner. When the decision has been made, they give it to you, you run with clarity. That's not bad. Because sometimes the decision maker cannot run. All they do is just have ideas and let's do this, let's do this. Then to actualize, they're like they procrastinate for the next 5 months because when it comes to action, they can't really they are not actionable per se, but they can make decisions. But to like follow it up and to be dedicated, diligent to that, they can't do it. They need someone like you who it is go you hear, you don't hear come back again. You understand? That's all right. It's all right. So some of these things we think are flaws are all right. You understand? Some people will say, "Ah man, I take too many risks. I'm just someone that likes living on the edge." Sometimes we advise them, take it easy, take it easy. That's just them. They will take it easy for 2 days before you know they're back to themselves, living on the edge again. Sometimes you just need to help people. You understand? To be themselves. You understand? Help them to be themselves because it's in that stopping them that you now put them in harm's way. It's in that me telling you, don't be scared to make decision that you now make a very terrible decision. Because Mr. Tola told me to make decision, he has ruined my life. Oh. You understand? No, so it doesn't make any sense. You understand? When you tell them take it easy, now take it easy, now miss an opportunity. Like, Mr. Tola is one that told me to take it easy. God made us in a particular way because He wants us to achieve a particular end. So scared to make decisions, tell God, doesn't go away, and tell him why he put it. Why did he put it there? What does he want to use it for? And you see that what you think is a weakness might be a strength. So you might not be meant to leave that job. That's why you're scared to make a decision. So you might as well just stay there.
Wow, 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 wow. Thank you so much, sir, for the clear cut answers and, drawn from your wealth of experience also. They're very, 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 they're full of wisdom and very, very unconventional answers that they just go straight to the point to answer the questions that we had. So thank you so much, sir. We are really, 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 really grateful for tonight. This is all we'll be able to take as for questions for tonight. I'll be handing over to Nore as he brings the meeting for tonight to a close.